Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for Moody's memorial. Relationships in this space are really weird because we get close to these people, we interact with these people, and sometimes never had the chance to interact with them in person. But in those relationships, we still uh, develop closeness with those people, and anybody who says that you never develop real strong relationships with people across the world have no idea what they're talking about, and apparently have never tried. In this particular case, we're here to honor the memory of Moody, who has touched the lives of so many of us, and we're deeply saddened that he's no longer with us. Um, It's said that events like these, funerals, wakes, or memorials, are for the living, not for the dead. The reality is that our loved ones that have passed away are now at peace, and they no longer have to suffer in the pain that this world brings. Events like these are a chance for us to honor their memory so that they might live on in the ways that they have impacted us. In this Twitter space, we will be joined by Moody himself, both in spirit and what he's left for us. We're fortunate enough that Moody poured so much of himself into this space that we have a lot of media to pull from that he contributed to, and I've captured a few of those moments to kind of sprinkle in so that we can share some of his thoughts and things as we honor and remember his memory. And this space, like all of our spaces, or I should say most of our spaces, it will be recorded. So anybody that's missed it or anything will be able to catch it on our YouTube channel. Because it's I think things like this where we really need to immortalize and remember our dear friend Moody. Uh, so the way that this is gonna go down, we I've got a couple of speeches lined up for you, a lot of which are letters and things that people have written out that couldn't be here with us today, um, and one from myself that we'll finish off with, and some things that my co-host John has to bring to the table. John, I'll introduce John here a second. John is the latest member of the round table, and it was somebody that Moody advocated for to really bring on because Moody was such a compassionate human person that he um, was really passionate about people all around the world, people less fortunate than ourselves, people that don't have a lot of the same opportunities that we have in more developed Western worlds. And John is somebody I remember a lot of the discussions before bringing John in, and Moody was very adamant about having somebody on that does a lot of charity work, somebody that shares those similar values, and yeah, John, as some of you might know, he is one of the team members of Empower, which is a project that is geared towards developing homes in Africa. It does some video work for them. He's starting to do a lot of video work for the Knights, and bring a lot of that to what the Knights is going to become. So that's John. John, thank you for co-hosting with us. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'm also happy to be here.
I will go ahead and start with I've got a brief letter that was written by Scott. Scott, if you don't know, is one of the founding roundtable members of the Knights Guild, somebody who Moody worked more closely with than anybody. They spoke on a weekly basis for almost a year, maybe even more than a year, and I am very grateful that we still have Scott with us, because if anybody absorbed so much of the thoughts and ideas and vision of what was captured from Moody before he left us, it is Scott. So I've got a brief letter here that I'll read, that Scott has written for me to read on his behalf. Dear Moody, thank you for our time together. Your vision, energy, perseverance, and patience were just some of your talents. What most impressed me was your natural ability to connect and touch a person, usually to help them, to encourage them, as well as a positive challenge. Your unwavering sense that we should help those that need it, with every person being welcome, respected, and fairly treated. Inclusivity and safety were never far from your thoughts. For me, I miss our chats, our whiskey nights, having a good laugh. I miss my friend. I will do my best to help realize your vision and uphold your values. You will be missed. Scott. Uh, yeah. uh, Moody, Moody, as many of you know, was a visionary. He was an incredible leader, and he was incredibly hardworking. He was somebody that spent just about all of his free time um, creating things for the greater cornucopias community to have the best possible experience that they could when the game goes live, and he was really, really passionate about that. Um, in our first clip that I have of Moody, it was I don't actually remember which one it was. Yes, I do. It was one of my favorite Twitter Spaces, actually, that we had. It was a collaboration, and he worked so hard to be there, even though he was busy. He was driving at the time. It was a Twitter Space that we did with one of the other guilds, the Corn Mafia. We invited Seven, which I'm sure all of you, or at least most of you, are familiar with him. Another core member of the Cornucopias community. It was one of my favorite Twitter Spaces. It was such a deep Twitter space where we got into a lot of topics that were really human. That was all about how to connect with the human experience, and in that space, Moody shared some personal experiences that he had, and this is one of those experiences that I'd like to share with you.
My dad is got quite bad Alzheimer's, and he's not, physically he's fine, but obviously Alzheimer's is a terrible disease, and it steals the mind of so many people. And what I learned in the last year is, as a child or a grandchild or a nephew or a niece or even a partner, dealing with a loved one who has been the hero or your lover or your parent all your life, dealing with them losing their mind carries so much weight on you as an individual's shoulders, and I don't think people realise to the extent. I didn't particularly deal with it very well. I'm still not dealing with it very well. I'm used to control in every situation I'm in, but when my dad is my hero is poorly, I don't deal with that well. So I do want to take this opportunity because I think as generations live longer, a lot of the people in the world will have to deal with the unfortunate situation of Alzheimer's or dementia. And I beg you all, find help. There's help out there for you as an individual, and reach out to these people, because no one should have to go through this alone. And if you're not helping yourself, you can't help and support your loved ones. So I do want to share that with everyone, and I hope people just take from someone who's had a really hard year, and reach out for help, because there is help out there. Thank you, Josh.
As you can hear from the clip, hopefully it came through relatively clearly. It was because, like I said, he was driving at the time. He audio was a little bit choppy, but there was a very human element to Moody. He wasn't just a leader. He wasn't just somebody that was dedicated and wrote things down for us and created things. It wasn't just all about work for him. It really was all about people, and humanness and connection. He was incredibly understanding and empathetic, and he 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 really wanted people's needs to be fulfilled. He wanted to make sure that people were heard, made sure that people felt safe, made sure that people's well-being was taken care of, and that they knew that they had a community to lean on. They had people that they could reach out to, especially in this space. Communities aren't just people that talk about things that they're excited about, or ways that we as a group together can collaborate to make money or something. It is Moody was all about people, and personal connection and realism and empathy, and that is, I think, something that this space is missing a lot of the times. But it wasn't far from Moody to make sure to bring it back to that. Another thing that he was passionate about and understanding with was people's own situations, their own. He constantly repeated in a lot of the things that we built and worked on together. He constantly brought it back to understanding that what we build as a team, it's entirely built based on a volunteer basis. In a market like this, there's not really much money to be made, which is part of the equation. But he he took it from a couple of different perspectives. How impressive it was that we've built what we've built on a volunteer basis, of people that are strictly just passionate about it and doing this for free, but also understanding that people's real lives come first, that your well-being and taking care of your family and uh, you know things that you're dealing with outside of what we do in this space, that's real. It deserves attention. It deserves respect. And in that, there's another letter that I would like to share from you, from another one of our roundtable members, Juju, another founding member, who really, Juju would have been here if it wasn't absolutely important. There was a very conflicting matter that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. If it was anything normal, she would have dropped it and she would have been here and read this to you herself. So I think I'm grateful that she's provided this to us, and I think Moody is consistent with what uh, Moody stood for, and the understanding that he extended to people so often, that our real lives matter. So this is Juju's letter. Dear Nick, I miss you. There isn't a day, an hour that goes by without me thinking about you. I'm still having a hard time accepting that you aren't here. I have been checking Discord to see if the green dot next to your name showing me that you are online. I keep checking your Facebook page to see if you've posted anything new, a photo of you and Hugo on a walk, a photo of you at the pub. But all I've seen is silence. I don't know why I keep looking for validation that this isn't real. The truth is that you are gone, and it's a reality that I am struggling to come to terms with. I wish I could have told you how much our friendship meant to me, how much I appreciated you, your sense of humor, and your unwavering support. I wish I could have thanked you for being there for me when I needed a friend. You listened to me and encouraged me every single time I came to you for support. I wish I could have told you how much I admired your talent, your skills, and your resilience. I have so many regrets for what was not said. I hope you can hear this now. You will always hold a special place in my heart. I will never forget you. You have left a lasting impact on my life and the lives of so many others. Rest in peace, my friend. I will always miss you. Juju. In the words that people have to say about him, it reveals just how widespread, how personal Moody really was, how encouraging he was, and the difference that he made while he was here. Um, he's for a lot of people, his support and positivity and leadership are the things that will be remembered most, and for a lot of others, it was the personalism, the understanding and the friendship that he developed with people while he was here. I'm going to go ahead and play this next clip of Moody, and it's a little bit shorter, um, but I think revealing of Moody's character.
And I wanted to have a project which had something to do with my dog, my hound, in. And so the name Moodyhound, I can't remember why I came up with Moodyhound. But looking back now, all I get called is Moody, which is quite weird actually. So yeah, the reason Moodyhound is predominantly because I've got a Basset hound who isn't moody. He's just a bit of a stupid idiot dog who I love dearly.
I had to make sure that I included that clip because it was so um, it was so integral to any interaction that we all had with Moody. Any video clip that you watch or listen to, any meeting that he had, he always brought up his dog Hugo, his Basset hound. Um, he always had something to say. The dog was always around. Is such a integral part of who Moody was. He loved that dog so dearly, and it was the center of his life, and it it's almost as if that dog is every bit a part of the guild as Moody himself was. Um, uh, so much so that it influenced his name. That's where it comes from. His dog Hugo. Uh, I think that speaks to his humanness. It speaks to his empathy. Of course, he was an animal person, um, because he he really was just such a sensitive, understanding person. Um, with that, I have talked extensively in this Twitter space, and that's not about to change very much as we go on here. But I would like to invite John. John has a little something to prepare or to speak to us about his experiences with Moody, and you can get a little break from me talking. So John, if if you're cool to go up next, I'd like to invite you up to speak.
Thank you. Yeah. I want to come. I want to say something positive. What my experiences with Moody. First of all, thank you for your kind words about me, and I can connect directly what you said. um, um, when I met Moody in a chat, in a voice chat, and it doesn't took long for Moody to turn me on charity, because he knows that I'm doing quite a lot of charity and volunteer work in Africa. And I remember, apart from the fact that I already liked the Knights, my heart really warmed up when he told me about his charity idea. And I was like, Moody, I had that already in mind. Why not doing one day something with charity as a guild? And he came up first with that. And so the next question was actually, how can we do something? And I thought, maybe in 1 or 2 years, it's maybe too early. But let's think about doing something soon. And I'm kind of emotional at the moment, but also smiling. It's a mix. So it's just a month ago I was again for an NGO in Sierra Leone, and I took that opportunity for us actually to look around, because I know already many people who are in needs or projects where we could help, but I took the opportunity to find something where we could, as Guild, make a difference. Why I'm actually telling you this? It's because Moody brought the idea on the table, and of course with agreement with the Guild leadership. For me, it just connected to the way Moody wants to help. So I don't know, that was when he talked about the Guild and later on about the charity. For me, it was the same. He wants to help the people to have a better life, get a better, more easy entry into cornucopias. We are the Guild. So it's not only Web3, in this case also in Africa, where we likely to help to build a school in a jungle village one day. I can't really wait to see what the Guild achieves over there, what actually Moody has started. So he came up with the idea, not I, as someone who's already doing charity. Maybe my last few words about that. One day, I'm already thinking about the day when I will be back in Africa, and I will see for us what we have built, and I'm sure I will smile and cry and enjoy the laughing kids over there, because this is always what I do over there. The kids are always laughing when you make fun with them, and to see one day that we may have built something there and the kids are laughing, I definitely will share that with all the members, and I definitely will always think about Moody, because he has started that idea. And yeah, I can't wait actually to have such an achievement for Moody one day, because that will always be connected to Moody. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John. That was beautiful, and I think I'm grateful that Moody brought you in and got me connected with somebody that uh, is so passionate about charity work, and it it really makes sure that void that was left by Moody, that passion for charity, is not gone after he is. So I'm grateful that he connected with you in that, and that you're here in this space. we are going to open it up to people that want to share any of their fondest memories or perceptions or interactions, whatever, something about Moody. We'll open up to the floor to anybody that wants to request up. As we do that, and anybody that wants to share can just request. We'll bring you right up. Next, I'm going to play another clip that of Moody, and yeah, once we get to the end of that, we'll have the floor open for people to share if they should like to. Um, so yeah, I'll go ahead and get that started.
So it is a fun fact, and for anyone who knows me, it's quite embarrassing actually, because in my adult life, I kind of really tried to be inclusive, transparent, and transparency is really important to me, and integrity. But when I was at school, I almost was like in the closet. Like at school, I was a captain of a rugby team, top goal scorer on a football team, all of this stuff, and I was a cool kid, and I had, didn't really have to work hard in classes. A lot of them came normally to me, and yeah, so I was what you'd probably consider, a jock at school for our American colleagues, and I loved it. I had a great time. I was a nice kid. I wasn't a bully or anything like that. But my fun fact is, where I grew up is in Devon in the UK. It's that little pokey out bit at the bottom of the map for anyone who doesn't know. And my school was in the centre of kind of like the area, and it was surrounded by villages, and I lived in one of the villages. So my fun fact is, I was an absolute closet geek. So during the Monday to Friday, walking around like jumper tied around my waist, cap on backwards, playing football, playing rugby. And then at the weekends, I'd go and meet my friends in my village and play Dungeons and Dragons from pretty much all weekend in a dark room, rolling dice, fighting dragons, solving mysteries.
What I love about that clip is that it speaks to kind of Moody's background of how he ended up with us as he was. He he was a closet geek growing up as a kid, even though he was a sports guy. He was kind of a jock, but then on the weekends he played Dungeons and Dragons with some of his friends that lived near the village as a child. He uh, goes on to talk about how he embraced it later on, and he uh, was one of the in the early days of World of Warcraft, as people began to organize. He helped to build some of the guilds there, and he was so plugged in to what was happening. He was passionate about what we have going on here, not just with Cornucopias, but with the greater metaverse and different things that are building in this space. He was so excited about it because he's been there. He uh, knows what this space is about, and he saw value in what was being brought from his experience with connecting with people in that community. He was so excited about what was being built, and he talked about constantly how once we get like a big drop of information out of Cornucopias, how he was just going to take the week off of work and just study that information that we had available to us, so that he knew how we could best maximize our experience and move forward in a competitive fashion, and just connect with what it is that is being built. He was so excited. He was one of us. He was a nerd. He was a gamer. Regardless of like how he seemed on camera or in Twitter space, with the utmost professionalism and leadership and poise. Yeah, the reality was that he was one of us. He he was a gamer. Um, it breaks my heart that he'll never get to see the end product of it all. He'll never get to see uh, the real completed cornucopious metaverse. I know that he was anticipating it so deeply, um, but I think ultimately it will be better than it would have been if we didn't have Moody with us. Um, so now we have reached the time and the space where it is an open floor. People are open to come up and share their fondest memories of Moody if they would like. Uh, I don't have any requests here at the moment. There's absolutely no pressure. Nobody needs to come up. But if you would like to, go ahead and hit that request button, and we will bring you on up right away, and you can share with us some of your thoughts and memories. If not, I've still got my uh, probably longer than it needs to be speech that I've written out about Moody, and another clip that I can share. So yeah, it's really no pressure at all. Don't feel like you have to come up. Just if you feel led to, then you can come up, and we'd be happy to hear your experiences. When did we start? 10:30. I am trying to keep us relatively short, about 45 minutes to an hour. Um, but let's see here. Oh, okay, Fareed. I'll bring you up right here. Fareed, welcome up.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
I am doing fantastic. I'm glad to be here just talking about Moody. It was really hard at first, and I was breaking down basically on a daily basis. But uh, as I'll share in my speech, um, I've got a lot of fond memories that I'm ruminating on about Moody, and really trying to hold on to the positive that he brought to us and the world. So I am positive today. Um, yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. And I just want to start off by just commending you, as well as John. You've done an amazing job here on this space, really bringing back memory everything that Moody's done. I think for me, and I'm going to keep this very brief, for me, Moody's had an impact. And I remember when I first met him, actually, it was on a Twitter space. It was with you, Jay Crypto, and I think one other person. But we were there to talk about cornucopias and the gaming side of what the guilds could be. And I just remember his passion for cornucopias and for the community as a whole. Following that, he and I collaborated on a few YouTube videos, and I posted them on my channel. And I still have had trouble, going back to even watch those interviews because I know he's no longer here. And when you broke the news to me, Josh, I had a really hard time that day. And even up until now, just like Juju mentioned in her letter, it's really hard to come to terms with these events, especially when you feel like you've just spoken with somebody and then boom, they're just gone. So I've really just been doing my best to keep him in memory. Obviously, I think it takes some different people different amounts of time to kind of fully heal, and I'm still kind of working through my own healing and mourning process. But I just want to just kind of recall one of my interviews with him and how awesome it was to really collaborate and hear from him. Again, I know he had a charitable side to him, but when I look back as to the interviews that I did with him, being that they were focused on cornucopias and the gaming side of things, I really got to hear him pour out his heart and really wear his heart on his sleeve when it came to the Knights Guild and his dedication to bringing others into the guild and into the game to, like you said earlier, to give them an opportunity to get access to something that they would have not had before. And so that's really what sticks out to me was his dedication to the community and his dedication to helping others. And I remember very greatly, we started off the interview And as soon as we started the interview, he got a knock at the door, and we had to like redo the interview. But like towards the middle of the interview, we saw Moodyhound, the dog, kind of interrupt, and we were just kind of there laughing about it, together in the moment. And those are the things that I remember, was just like those small interactions that I know, we're not going to get to have again. And again, I'm going to hope to bring myself to watch those interviews and really kind of relive those moments. But his dedication will be missed. His charitable aspects will also be missed. But I think what we have is exactly what you were playing back. Those clips, those Twitter Spaces, the interviews that he did with myself on the YouTube channel. To really go back, and when we ever get discouraged, look back at what the vision he was trying to lay down and what he was bringing to the space. So that's what I'm taking, from all of this is we have to carry the torch. We have to carry this light. He started this, but we have to finish this for him. So I'm going to keep Moody in my memory. And I know that you and I will be chatting about things that we can do to memorialize him and what he was trying to do moving forward. And again, I thank you for putting on this space. You and John have both done an amazing job.
Thank you, thank you. I'm glad that you came up to speak, because one of the things that I heard Moody talk about on more than one occasion, he often paired you and I together as content creators in this space, and he was so encouraging about what it is that we're doing. He talked about like at length the value that he believed that you and I are bringing to the space by creating content. And I know that um, he did that for a lot of people. He encouraged multiple people, I found out, to go out and put their own voice out there and create things and contribute to the community. And he helps people to see what value they can bring to the space in whatever capacity they themselves can, whether it be like a Twitter space or a YouTube channel, or in their contributions to like a greater collaboration, like a guild or something. And I am reminded of that in watching your content as I create content and just do what we do in this space. He was incredibly encouraging about all that. I have one more clip to play of Moody. After that, if there's anybody else that would like to share some thoughts, come up and speak. And if not, I'll go ahead and close it out with my own speech that I've written out. And here we go.
I mean, it sounds a bit sad, but I remember the first time our guild took down Ragnaros. One of the guys was recording it for a video. He used to make videos out of all of our raids. They were quite poor until we actually got enough gear to actually get anywhere. But the shrieks and the cheers, I mean, there was people almost in tears when we took down Ragnaros for the first time. And yeah, that really got me gripped, not just on MMOs, but building a community of people who have got a common goal, common incentives, that fairness, and the mechanics and the economics behind it. I mean, I know blockchain gaming is going to actually really change how MMOs work with the economy, and actually people can get value from it. But you're still dealing with resources. You're still dealing with people who can only commit so much time. It is fascinating.
I saved that clip for last because I think that it exuded Moody's geekiness. I hope that it inspires us to carry on doing what we're doing, and not just build and work and tirelessly spend time. I do hope that there's some of that, but like that we take some time to enjoy what it is that we're doing in this space. I still to this day have no idea what the hell he was talking about. Uh, I don't know what game he was referring to, but like he spoke about it with such passion. The geekiness, the excitement that just comes out of you when you're playing with people and accomplishing something together and enjoying and having fun. I I encourage all of you to remember to hold on to that, to remember that that was a big part of like why Moody did what he did and why he was so passionate about it. It was those moments of working together and accomplishing something that you know we hope to have in this whole big thing. Um, and it's the collaboration and interacting with people to make these things happen that I think really he was excited to see. Um, so yeah, uh, with that, if there aren't any other speakers that would like to share anything, I'll go ahead and close it out with what I have written for him, um, and then we'll go ahead and wrap us up. So the day that I found out about our dear friend Moody, I was looking for a way to cope with the loss of somebody that I held in such high regard. I respected him so deeply. I was constantly impressed with what Moody brought to the table, and even though I did have the chance to communicate that to him on more than one occasion, I don't feel like I told him enough. What I ended up deciding uh, in my coping grieving process, I decided to watch a movie. I tend to do that. I really enjoy movies and stories. I'm just scrolling through my watch list on Netflix, and what I ended up landing on was a movie that I've seen hundreds of times in my childhood. It's a movie called A Knight's Tale. At the time, I didn't really realize the irony of this selection, but it was almost as if Moody was sending a message to me through this movie on Netflix. If you haven't seen the movie before, the movie is about a small group of squires that are responsible for handling all of the peasant work for a knight that was actually of noble birth. He knew what he was doing, and they travel from tournament to tournament, doing jousting competitions and other kinds of things. Well, at the beginning of the movie, the real knight, the one of noble birth, dies, leaving behind the squires that have no real idea what they're doing. So they decide to pretend their way through these competitions. They make along the way they meet a few like specialists, people to help them along the way to help accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, and they end up making history by doing things that nobody in this world has ever done before, opposing a lot of the preconceived notions that people have about like what it means to be a knight, um, and the standards that come along with that. Somewhere, I hope that Moody is listening to this and laughing at the kind of parallel that I'm drawing here. Uh, I know that he would appreciate us carrying on his legacy and knowing that we can carry on the journey that he started us on. And I don't just mean the Knights when I say this. Moody was a recognizable figure in the cornucopias community and in the greater metaverse community because that's just what he was passionate about. Those of us that had the privilege to work closely with him or just hear him speak uh, has the chance to allow Moodyhound to live on through us in everything that we do. I said this on the Memorial Twitter space last week, but I'll say it again because I think it needs to be said. Um, it is true that our experience in this space will not be the same, and not because Moody is gone, but more so because he was here. Uh, we could guess at what could have been, what could have happened if Moody was still here with us when Cornucopias comes. Um, but the reality is that the short amount of time that we had him, it was transformative in itself. I am so grateful to have worked so closely with somebody that believed, as I did, that we're aiming to change the world here, to change people's ideas and perceptions, those preconceived notions that they believe about gaming and what this technology and world has to offer to the world. And it has been a sobering experience to realize that not all of us will get to see the other side of it all. Uh, but it should make a difference in how you expect to get there. I promise you that the way that we change the world, the way that we make a difference, our participation in the space is not by trashing the competition as if they're the enemy or something. Moody was always a collaborative spirit. He worked as if the only way forward was together, as if engaging as a community is the healthiest and best way to get there, and not by tearing down others. Moody was one of the rare few that knew how to do this thing the right way on a technical level, and he saw so many of those shared values in the community. That's why he was here. He chose the cornucopias community because that's what it exudes. And if you had a chance to catch that video that was recently published on the cornucopias YouTube, Josh is up there on stage telling people that they haven't spent a dime on marketing, that everything that they've built so far and the reach that it has had, it is because of you, us as the community. It's, we have helped to drive this thing forward. And I think Moody believed that. Josh believes that. That's where Cornucopia stands. And uh, that should mean something. We have built this community. We have helped to build this thing. And we've rallied behind uh, people that are building this project. Moody and I both had this thing where we could just listen to ourselves talk for hours, but only if it was something that we were passionate about. This time today, I'm just passionate about the loss of my friend. We saw eye to eye on a lot of things in this tiny niche space of pioneers that view things differently than the rest of the world. It is completely reasonable to feel disheartened or discouraged to keep going after this loss. But what Moody gave us was too valuable to me to throw away. So when I say that I'm positive today, when I say that I'm optimistic and passionate about what we're doing moving forward, it is dedicated and in memory of Moody. I will forever be grateful for the time that we had him, and he will be missed for sure. But I am more motivated than ever to really make an impact in Moody's name, and it will not be the same. He contributed a lot, and I want to thank you all for coming and remembering Moody's name. I want to thank you all for your contributions to this community, whatever it is that you're building, whatever it is that you're working on. I know that Moody supported you, and as he is gone, I hope to relay that support and encouragement. Thank you all for being here, and yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap it up here.
John, did you have something you wanted to close us with?
Yeah, I have to say thank you also to you for your beautiful words. You have done that very well. I know it's not easy. Thank you all. Moody, we will miss you.